Okay, we're just returning from our Board of Education retreat. We are reconvening back into a regular meeting of the Board of Education, July 23rd, 2025. Please rise for the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, a reading of our mission statement. We are committed to academic achievement and success for all students in a safe environment. In partnership with families in our community, our mission is to promote confidence, inspire a passion for learning, and to prepare our students to become responsible global citizens. Is there a motion for the approval of the revised agenda?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Next is questions or comments from interested citizens, and we have Mr. McElroy.
Good evening, Dr. Norman, President Tauber, Vice President Simmons, members of the Board of Education and the Monroe-Woodbury and Cabinet and Monroe-Woodbury community. As President of the Monroe-Woodbury Teachers Association, I'm here tonight to speak to the community about the distraction-free learning policy that will be considered for adoption this evening. While this policy is the result of a law that was recently adopted, I felt it was important to speak to why this policy is urgently needed and to enlist the support of parents, students, and staff to make it work. I live in Middletown, and my home district adopted a distraction-free learning policy a few years ago, so I have heard all of the arguments for and against the policy, and my own children were impacted by the change as well, so I speak from that experience too. Admittedly, I was skeptical about the need for such a policy shift until I attended a disconnected conference held by NYSET last September. The messages shared by parents, students, school leaders, and law enforcement were very compelling. I came away with a new outlook, but I also recognize that change is hard. It is easy to come up with reasons why we shouldn't do something different. But if we are honest with ourselves, what we are doing is not working on almost any level for the students and staff in our schools. Students are distracted and bombarded with social media throughout the school day. We know that this online environment is toxic and dangerous. The FOMO is real. Although we try to prohibit access to other dangerous substances, big tech has convinced a lot of us to not even bother with these devices. We owe our children better, and for the 6 days, or 6 hours rather, that they are in school, we can actually liberate them from that environment. School officials from districts that enacted this policy with fidelity report higher levels of student engagement in class, fewer fights and discipline referrals, and, if you can believe it, more face-to-face socializing in cafeterias, hallways, libraries. For a lot of us, person-to-person interactions were what made our school experiences memorable. In a competition with an internet-enabled device that has social media, games, videos, and text messaging, even the best teacher, beloved by their students with best lessons, is no match. If you have ever tried engaging with your own teenager when they are ensconced in the current episode of whatever streaming show it is they are watching, you know exactly what I mean. You are no match for the new bombshell entering the village. Try that with 30 teenagers who are probably not going to be riveted by the twists and turns of the Burr-Hamilton duel. Without these devices, students will be able to attend more to the content being taught and should see better outcomes on quarterly grades and state assessments. Students in schools that enacted this policy reported feeling less anxious without the constant pings from social media, gradebook updates, or even from their adults at home. They said they were more motivated and engaged with coursework and were more social with their peers. One transfer student even described how it was easier for her to make friends because she had no alternative but to talk to people. Of course, everyone is concerned about emergencies, and we live in a much different world from when I attended Monroe-Woodbury High School 30 years ago. We all like the convenience of being connected to our children for last-minute changes to schedules or just to check in. However, in a real emergency, law enforcement officials believe that this is still the right approach to have these devices away. Access to the devices in an emergency can actually overwhelm cell towers and slow the emergency response, either due to misinformation being shared or parents rushing to the scene. And in grades 6 through 12, our students will be able to communicate with their parents via school district email, and just like in the good old days, students will be able to make phone calls from the offices should the need arise. And I could assure you, my mother had no problem finding me if I was in Harriman Heights, Pine Tree, the middle school, or the high school. She's pretty dogged that way. Ultimately, what I'm asking from the students and their adults at home is to partner with us to make this policy work. We need your help to help create the best possible school environment for your children, and we cannot do it without you and your support and partnership. And we owe it to our students to make this a success, because the stakes are too high if we continue to do what we know is not working. I'm also asking for some grace and patience in the first few weeks of the school year, because the implementation will not be perfect and will likely need to be tweaked. But I am confident that working together with you, we will do our best in making the transition as smooth as possible for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next is update on questions or comments raised, and I don't think there are any. So we'll bring us to approval of minutes from the July 1st, 2025 meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next is approval of the Board of Education committees. There is a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And our presentation on distraction-free schools from Dr. Vias.
Before I start this presentation, I want to thank Distraction-Free Learning Committee members, building administrators, especially high school and middle school team members, all union leaders, cabinet members, superintendent, communications and technology team members. Thank you for being part of this journey for us. Distraction-Free Learning Schools. Good evening, Board of Education members, Superintendent Dr. Norman, and my colleagues. I'm here to present today what does this mean to us and how do we actually implement this process or policies together. So this law directly aligns with our commitment to academic achievement and creating a safe and focused learning environment, which are crucial for inspiring a passion for learning and preparing our students, as indicated in our mission statement that our board president just read. So what is this? This legislation was enacted as a part of the 2026 budget. Its core purpose is to bolster youth mental health and enhance student success across the state. This law is scheduled to take full effect at the start of the 25-26 school year, and the deadline to adopt the policy is August 1st, 2025. It's a statewide mandate. However, there are quite a few states are adopting the similar policies, applying to all public schools, charter schools, BOCES across the New York State. The most important requirement for this distraction-free law is a ban on a use of internet-enabled personal devices in K-12 schools throughout the entire instructional day. Covered devices, which is referred here, includes phones, laptops, tablets, smartwatches, internet-connected accessories, e-readers, voice readers, cameras, and music devices. The law does provide some flexibilities for the school districts to develop their own storage plans. Now, this is a new mandate. So to support this initiative, the state has allocated $13.5 million to help the school to pursue the necessary solutions, storage solutions. So for a Monroe-Woodbury, for us, we will be receiving just about $37,000 for the implementation of this process. The state has outlined last week the process of how do we get reimbursed for that. And the first step, as we are doing today, is adaptation of policy, and then follow the process later. It also emphasized a fair, non-discriminatory disciplinary practices, ensuring that all the students are treated equitably under this new policy. Monroe-Woodbury Distraction-Free Learning Committee. So to address this new mandate, we proactively formed the Monroe-Woodbury Distraction-Free Committee in January. This committee is a true cross-section of our school community. It includes teachers, cabinet members, administrators, coaches, counselors, board member, parents, students, and our support staff. This broad representation of different stakeholders ensures all perspectives were considered when we developed this policy. So once we had the policy, we did a few things. One of the pieces is for increase the efficiency and look at the targeted solutions. We did the committee in 3 subcommittees. We divided the committee into 3 subcommittees: elementary, middle school, and high school. And each committee went back to their different stakeholders and gathered the feedback, did some research, and also looked for the variety of different solutions that they may have come back to the committee to present it. We reviewed the new legislation, and most importantly, what we did, we studied the policies and the practices from local school districts, local means within the 4 to 6 county school districts, who have done this implementation and learned the valuable lessons by implementing these policies. We also used some of the resources across the board. Some of this committee member also attended a conference that was done by NYSUT Distraction-Free Workshop and came back with some valuable insights to form our opinion and help us with the development of the policy. Our research has been very comprehensive, drawing from resources like the New York State School Board Association, New York State United Teachers websites and resources, national, you might be aware of Phone Off and Away. There is a big initiative, Phone Off and Away, for the last few years. A variety of different news articles, including some data that is coming from the latest research about the districts or even the state who have implemented this kind of the policy, what they are seeing based on the feedback and the data collections. And even what we did was some of the members visited the local school districts in person to see how this policy is truly effective and how the districts have implemented. So this was a part of the forming the decision process for us. What this means to us, as Mr. McElroy earlier mentioned that there are some tangible benefits. This policy addresses the distraction and improvement of student well-being, which is a critical part of who we are as a school district. It relieves the student anxiety and social media pressure. You can only imagine as being a teacher in front of the classroom nowadays, and that ping goes on multiple times during the 42 minutes period. And how do you focus on the instruction? Now, to add on to that, if you have some specific type of the disability of the medical condition, it even makes it worse for the students to pay the attention. The data has shown that it's increased the participation and engagement, and ultimately it has resulted in less bullying and disciplinary referrals. So what you have in the board docs is the draft policy. The policy name is Monroe-Woodbury Central School District's policy for students and personal electronic devices policy. So based on the committee's extensive work of almost about 6-7 months, we have developed the draft policy for our districts regarding the students and personal electronic devices. The core of the policy is extremely clear. Covered devices, meaning any devices that is internet enabled, is not allowed cannot be used between the bell to bell. Which means throughout the instructional day. Students can use in the buses, students can use after the dismissal, certainly they can use the device. So for our elementary schools, the covered devices are prohibited, and it should be left alone at home. It should be left home. This also avoids any school in-management issues for our youngest students. For middle school and high school, each student will be issued a specialized pouch for their time with Monroe-Woodbury. And the covered devices must be turned off and securely placed in this assigned pouch. So this is very similar process of when the students start with us, we give the students a device, like a Chromebook or an iPad, and that device stays with the students throughout their time with Monroe-Woodbury. We also have built in some necessary exemptions as a part of this policy that came from Governor's office, is exemption for medical and disability-related reasons. Ensuring that we comply with all the relevant regulations and support our students' diverse needs. The committee recommends to go with yonder pouches. So to effectively implement this policy, we look at the variety of different solutions. The solutions range from putting a small, like a suitcase type solution in a classroom where every period when the students changes, they would come and put the device in the classroom, and then they take the device at the end of every period. Versus the pouch solution, one of the companies, Yonder. And what the committee realized that if we truly want to implement this policy to the fidelity, and we want to make sure that we support our students' social and emotional well-being, this is the proven solution. And we look at the data that came out last 3-4 years, not just with this company, but also the districts who have done their independent research as well. So this Yonder pouch is a specially designed soft lockable pouch that secures the mobile phones, smartwatches, and other internet-enabled device. I wasn't going to share too much, but it is a small pouch like this. So it's very easy to open and close it. I'll show you a little bit later today. So students will lock the pouch. The pouch has a magnetic lock, meaning that once it's locked, students cannot open this by themselves. They have to go to a specific unit or a location where we will have the magnetic unit available to open this pouch. Students will keep this pouch with them throughout the school day, and then preventing the access of their devices, however, maintaining the possession of the device with them, and they'll put the pouch in their locker or in their backpack. At the end of the school day, student will go to the designated unlocking areas where the unlocking base will be located. This is what one of the unit looks like. This is like an unlock base. And it will be typically located in the common areas and near all the exits, near certain exits. They will open the pouch with a simple click, and then they will be off to go. So that's, once they learn the process, it's a very well-oiled machines. In the beginning, however, as Mr. McElroy mentioned, every district that we visited, they all told us that first 2-3 weeks, be patient, ask for the grace, ask for the support for the community, and that's what we're asking today as well. Any new initiative takes a little time, a little adjustment. However, I can tell you that our administrators have done an unbelievably amazing job in a short window of time. They have come up with how the process would work, and they are very close to finalize this process and then send the communication out. So this is a small example of what does the daily process looks like. So this is a daily process for device management using the Yonder pouch. So upon arrival, students will turn off their device and place them in their Yonder pouch. Then students simply press the button, and then the pouch will be locked magnetically. Once the pouch is locked, then the pouch will be stored in the student backpack or in their locker. At the end of the day, at the dismissal time, the student exit the building. At the end of the day, they will tap that pouch, and then the pouch will be opened quickly. And then they walk into the bus or whatever the next step that they have. Excuse me. The process is designed to be very efficient, minimize the disruption, and ensures that the device remains secure throughout the day. And I know, as if you're looking this as a first time, it's hard to believe, but there are tons of videos and tons of proven data now that once everybody masters this process, it works very efficiently. This solution is not just used by the schools. We have seen a growth in this solution. Like if you go to concert, a lot of concerts are actually using this solution. Some of the high-end marriages where people do not want to, the host don't want to allow the guests to use their phones, they started using this as well. So it's a proven industry, including the education. Next step. So as we move forward, there are several crucial next steps. First and foremost, we are seeking your approval for the draft policy for today, because the deadline to start this process from the state is August 1st. Then we'll be launching a comprehensive ongoing communications to ensure all stakeholders are very well informed. We'll send out direct emails to both staff, families, providing the detailed information. Our district website, which will be a central hub for featuring a news story, a robust, frequently asked questions, including the detailed information about what the Yonder is, how can this be used, including some videos, along with an online form for parents to submit their questions. As a parent, I can only imagine if I'm seeing this first time, I will have a lot of questions. So our goal is to provide a lot of frequently asked questions to begin with, but also address certain common questions that we will receive throughout this process. We'll also utilizing our Crusaders chat, virtual and in person, as an opportunity to direct dialogue and to address any concerns that parents may have. Information will be disseminated through the district and individual school letters as well. And we'll be updating our code of conduct to reflect once the board is approving this policy as well. Before I close, I understand this is a law and we had to do it, but it's more than that. This really allows an opportunity for our students to increase classroom focus, enhance the social interaction, and ultimately improving the student well-beings. With that said, we're happy to answer the questions. Go.
Yeah, first a comment. The school I work in has been taking the students' phones for the past 5 years. We've seen such an improvement in student learning, it's not even, I mean, it's beyond ridiculous, from one extreme to the other. My second is a question about where the unlocking devices will be located. Will any of them be like in the nurse's office or administrative offices so that a student in an emergency could unlock it?
Good question. Yeah, so both building administrators, this will be on the middle school and high school. So Mr. Vasquez and Mr. McElroy's team is busy in designing the flow, including certain strategic locations like what you mentioned as well. And what we have learned in the visit is exactly that. Like, what are some hot locations that the students might go, and what are the locations we should avoid? So an example could be a security officer would be sitting there on a table with the 3 unlocking station, and students will come in line, click out. So it will be certainly addressed, yes.
Is this battery operated or it's purely magnetic?
It's a magnetic lock.
So there is no way to put it on the wall and turn it on and turn it off by the administration at certain times?
There is another unit that goes on a wall mount as well. I just didn't bring it here.
No, what I'm asking is that, if the magnet is not electrically powered, then obviously there is no way to control this. But if this is electrically powered, you can just hang it on the walls and during certain times put it on a timer. Turn it on and turn it off. This way it avoids any kinds of congestion at the stations, and the student can just come to it, open it, and then close it. But I also have a question, accessibility of this magnet, but I can totally see somebody creating a business in a high school, buying one of those things and then opening it for other students.
We have heard of those as well, but it is a very small number, and generally students talk, and our administrators have really good eyes and ears on their students. I can see that, but it will be addressed as coming. But it will be a very small number of of students who may try to.
Also, people who go to high-end weddings don't tend to destroy things. How easily destructible is that?
So, good question. I should have addressed that. So as a district, and it's not finalized yet, it's in legal review, that we are looking to have first and second pouch at no cost as a part of our current process, and then the third pouch would be a $30 per student.
$30.
Yes. And before we even get to the point, there is a specific process that will be outlined into the code of conduct to make sure that the administrator will reach out to the parents, educate the parents as well that what's happening as well. We're trying to follow similar process we have for the devices.
And is each student assigned a specific pouch with an assigned number on it?
Yes. So this is assigned to Jason McElroy.
So somebody damages it, there is fiscal responsibility?
Yes.
Okay. And the third question is, since the banning of the cell phones, do you see an uptick in violent behavior in schools? Because now, instead of concentrating on the phone, kids will start concentrating on each other without knowing how to handle it.
So the data shows the other way around.
Okay.
The data is showing that there is a lot more socialization. However, we are aware of, in the beginning, working with both building administrators to make sure that the social workers, the guidance counselors are aware. Because think about it as our students. These kids are wired now for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, having 7, 8, 12 hours with the phone. And all of a sudden, when they come to us, they will not have their phone, well, they will have their phone in the pouch, but not the access of the phone. So there could be some interesting behavior that could come out, but we are prepared to address that.
The pouches are individualized to the students. They stay in the building, and so when they come in, they pick up their pouch, and then when they leave?
No, so this will be assigned to them that they will keep with them, including taking it home.
So if a child like my son forgets his pouch, what happens?
Good question.
Yeah.
So we have a process already started that, and that will be a lot more communication comes out from both buildings. The process, and I'm giving you a roundabout answer because that process might be a little bit different for middle school and high school. One of the process that high school is establishing, if you forget the pouch, you will still have to put your phone in the envelope, write your student ID, and then now you had to go and they will be taken to the main office, and then at the end of the day, you had to go to main office and collect that.
Okay.
And that has a proven in other districts, same exact process.
They won't forget it again.
And, yeah, you'd be surprised. If there is it possible to, so since that is my follow-up question, since it is something that comes with them, and they forget to, is it possible for them to forget? In other words, like, they can't leave without doing it, or can someone walk out and forget to undo it?
A student can easily forget and just walk out.
Mm-hmm.
But we are looking to mount a couple of outside perimeter, so then kids can actually come in and then just unlock it.
Oh, okay.
So this is all, in a way, this is a well planned, but with the understanding that we had to adapt based on what we will find in the first couple of weeks.
Now, sorry, my last question, disciplinary. I know that there's a code of conduct in place for phones in the school already, but now that this is a state policy, and I know that there's gonna be a gradual implementation of it, but if it turns out that a child, forgets or has their phone or sneaks it in without using the pouch, right, will the discipline become, okay, those
It
will
will be
change and be
addressed.
communicated, obviously.
Yes, so next month's board meeting, Dr. Hassler has already started working with the middle school and high school to address, based on the approval of this policy, what the code of conduct will look like
Okay.
moving forward.
Just a follow-up to Ms. Robertson's question. So not just any magnet can open it?
No.
It's a specific.
That is specific, but we live in this society that there is always some interesting solutions could come
I'm
up.
sure. I'm sure they'll
But it's
find
no
them.
different than any other policies that we have. However, the good part that kudos to the middle school and high school administrators and teachers too, like they would know I wouldn't say right away, but they will figure it out once this process starts. And that's kind of what the data showed us when we visited a couple of school districts. I visited 3 different school districts, and yes, we are aware about the counterfeit on eBay that they can get it, and an young entrepreneur can start something. However, at some point, it will come out and it will be addressed through the code of conduct.
New York State's very generous $37,000. Does that cover the cost of implementing this, or is there some?
No, it's a
financial
more cost.
contribution?
If you remember, when Mr. Tripotto and Mr. Cahill presented their last year they presented this year's budget, we did allocate certain funding in this to cover that path. Our goal is, so this year, all 6 to 12 grade students will get the pouch. Next year, we only have to cover the incoming 6th graders. And what has working for us in terms of the device process? Parents are very familiar with when the student get device and how do we collect the device. We want to align the new process as close as possible to that, with the understanding that it may not be exactly aligned and we may have to shift a little bit based on the data that we will see. But what I can assure you that throughout this process, we have some tremendous support from teachers, administrators, board members, as well as superintendent and my colleagues at the cabinet level. We want to make sure that we are doing this for taking care of the youth mental health and social emotional awareness, not just go with having the heavy hand on day one with the code of conduct. And I tell you, my personal journey is very interesting too, with the person responsible for implementing the technology and kind of coming on the other side. I'm like, wow, this is impactful. So I appreciate it. I told Dr. Norman and Ms. Trover, like, who knew that I would have to come in and present this to that. But it's a really impactful journey, and I'm hoping that this would be the same for our students and our parents to make it meaning out of that.
Which specific parameters improved in those studies?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Which specific parameters improved in the studies?
Specific parameters improved?
Improved in the studies. What were they?
Oh, in the studies? So the bullying went down, right? And general referrals went down. Now, there could be many layers to that, right? But initially indications are it's going to be impacting this. Now, I can tell you a little bit more about it. What the state has done as a requirement for this policy, next summer, we have to publicize the data of specifically related to the disciplinary action of this new policy. And we have to make sure that we are not punishing the students of one shape, size, color, race, ethnicity. So, in my opinion, they're already thinking about that and making sure it's an equitable enforcement of the policy.
So they're gonna be looking, they're gonna be looking for improvements, and they're
They-
gonna tie some money to it too.
Not necessarily improvements, they are looking, this is my understanding as of now. Next summer, as a school district, we had to publish a data on our website, remove the PII data and publish that website to say how many students were impacted disciplinary by this policy. And we already working with middle school and high school team member to make sure we track the data accurately. So it's too early to say, but the districts who are doing it have shown the data to us. They said this is certainly improving.
Have we had to add staff?
We did not add the staff as of now. What we did, we refilled the staff from the security office. There are a few retirements and people who moved on. So we are not looking at adding the new staff. We will be adjusting. And Mr. Tripoto has done a really good job of adjusting the staff that we have to utilize them a little bit more than hiring the new person. So this is where, as of we are today, it may be possible that we may have to add the staff, but I think it's too early to say that. We would like to try that to see if we can manage with our existing staff, maybe expand their hour or just their hours, and then see if we can make this work. Also, it's been very supportive from all the different bargaining units as well.
And you said we're buying 2 pouches per student from 6th to 12th grade?
We're buying 1 pouch per student with some extras.
Okay, so it's what, 6,000-ish pouches times 30, I'm assuming is what the cost is, since that's so $180,000.
We got
For
some
just the
discount. The
pouches.
total cost for this was $125,000.
120.
Just
okay.
124.
And the state gave us $37,000. Great job, by the governor.
36,984.
Well done by our governor. So, and understand that we're covering that with the budget and all that. I think that we're all good in that space, right? So, and then we're gonna buy only for 6th grade next year, obviously, as they move in. When students age, or when they graduate, so they turn their pouches back in, what's the plan for those? Like reusable if possible?
Yes.
Much like we do with the other devices.
Same exact process.
Are they cleanable?
Say it again.
Are they cleanable?
There
Because
are
the
ways to do
computers-
that
the
part,
computers can be cleaned.
yes, or they can be used for some other purposes.
Right. It almost seems like you can't really assign the pouch to someone else because it's soft and it's personal.
We will have to see the quality as well. Like if the students in 6th grade got the pouch, what would be the condition at when the student is at 12th grade, right? That's what we do
I know the answer to that.
in the equipment as well. But I think that we had to live to that far to see what's the status of the pouch looks like.
Yeah, I mean, my only further comment, no more questions, and thank you, by the way, for you and the team that's put all this together. I know it's a lot of work. It would be a request that we be flexible on this, and that the board continues to get updates on how it's going, because I feel like there's obviously going to be some things that we don't anticipate. Students are students, they're intelligent, they figure it out, right? So what is our process, and I'm not looking for an answer now, but what is our processes to keep on top of that, to keep the leadership involved, the board involved, if wherever we need to pivot to make sure that we're able to stay ahead of our great student body and making sure that they have the support that they need, and the teachers and staff also have the support that they need with inside the building of executing a difficult plan for this district.
So I can respond to that. I feel that I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge how proud I am of our students in general. And I want the public to have confidence in this. And I want to remind us that we put equipment in the hands of our students daily, very expensive equipment. We produce movie shows, you know that we put devices, iPads. Our students are amazing. They do an amazing job of maintaining their equipment and things that we trust them with. I certainly don't see this any different. I think we would be derelict of our duty if we didn't continue to inform the public of our progress. We have scheduled presentations for our goals update. This is something that we can certainly add to that, the cabinet and I. I can speak with Dr. Vias and organize that. But more importantly, I think the first couple of weeks will be the most important. We will learn, once school starts, and it will be a learning process, if you will. But we're prepared to be flexible and make adjustments. And I certainly feel confident with the work that the committee has done and how we're going to approach this. And I have all the faith and our students. So more to follow.
Appreciate that, and agreed.
Just one question that Dr. Norman's statement raised for me, and then Trustee Koifman as well. Will there be some form of inspection of the devices? If they're taking them home, they have time to kind of figure things out with them. Are we doing like periodic inspections to make sure they're intact and, that type of stuff?
In fact, we had a call last week with Yonder. It's called implementation call. They recommended that as well. So we are looking to do that, not in the beginning. It's the first few weeks are just let's get this through, see how everybody adjusts, because it's also an adjustment for our teachers, administrators, and parents as well. But yes.
Yeah, I would think that that's going to happen by default to a certain degree. When you're locking, unlocking every day, similar to what we see with our devices. They drop them sometimes, and I don't want to sound contradictory here, but, sometimes they don't charge properly, cases break, those types of things, and,
Swap them.
and they'll come to the teacher, and we'll find things almost by default. So I'm confident we'll evolve to that as well.
I'm sorry, I guess I do have another question. So for elementary school, the plan is not to issue them pouches clearly, but to have them store them in their book bags, probably after they get on the bus, and then put them in their cubbies or whatever we're calling it, right? And then,
No, we want that devices to stay home as much as possible. Do
right,
not
but we
even
all know
bring
the
it.
reality of the
But
situation is that's not gonna occur. So I'd rather speak in the realities of what I know.
it's very few. Mr. Barone led that K5 committee, and he and his team did a really good job of looking at that perspective. What their recommendation was, let's address that onesie twosie instead of making it a blanket. And they are already doing it. So K8, in a way, like our middle school already have, not the policy, but the practice in place that the students just don't bring out their phone. So from an implementation perspective, that should not be any difference now. We're just adding another layer of that. So we would go with the recommendation of device at home. If you bring it, it will be addressed by the building administrators.
Right. So I think we obviously just needs to be clear whether we're editing that, and then obviously for my teammate for the policy as we get closer.
Quick question,
Yeah.
as far as the community, go ahead,
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, just a quick comment, because my grandson always brought his phone to school because he was coming home, he and my son raced to get home first, okay? So he had the phone in case of emergency. There is a way for a parent to lock the phone between school hours. So that might be something to suggest to the parents, that during normal school hours, your child can be locked out of their phone.
We cannot do it as a school
If you
district.
need your child, I'm just saying as a suggestion, you can't force them to do it, but you can
Understood.
suggest that, did you know there's a way to do that?
Dr. Vias, can you talk about some of the exemptions for ELL and disabilities?
Sure. So we already have a process in place for medical and disability related exemptions. So if they, and we are ordering some specific pouches for the students who need to use this pouch. It will be like a Velcro type pouch. So students can still use the phone as needed to be, if they're allowed as a part of their already a process. With the ELL, we are looking at the two different solutions. Speaking to our new director of the ENL, Mrs. Graham, we are looking at a couple of things. We have a tool called Google Translator that was ultimately last year was banned in a way from EdLaw 2D. A lot of districts are pushing back to that to say, can we open Google Translator for our students? So that's option one. We are also looking at the couple of websites that the students can actually use on their district assigned device for the Google Translator. So those are the couple of things that we are addressing. It will be ready before the day one.
Another question. Parents, I don't know if the Power School has the capability, like Microsoft Teams. Is there a way for the parents or kids to communicate through Power School? Like if there is an emergency, if the phone is not available?
So
or do they have access to a specific teacher for a specific time? So let's say if the student is in a certain class, Smart Schedule understands this, and there'll be some sort of chat that is allowed between the parent and the teacher, perhaps, or both a parent and a child in case of emergency, and vice versa.
The old still traditional way works, calling a main office. So that's option one. Option two is our existing practice is 7th to 12th grade students. Well, our last year practice was 7th to 12th grade students. They all have devices. They can communicate via their email to their parents. Okay. So we opened that up from 6th to 12th grade. So there will be a communication channel open along with the traditional call in the main office, and then we will locate your child if there is an emergency.
Sorry, not to drag this out, but the data that you were discussing earlier, will that be in the goals for this year? To check on, I know that you have to present it as part of the new policy, but like to the board, will we get to see like the baseline of what actually is occurring and then how the pouches have helped?
Yes, I cannot tell you when.
No,
but
yeah.
certainly we need to lead
At some
through
point.
this, and then before we go through that, we'll work with Superintendent Dr. Norman and then follow his lead on the next steps.
So we haven't approved, as you know, the goals yet. We will put a draft forward to the board as we did years past, and we can update, add according to.
Any other questions? Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you for all
Thank
the
you.
work you've done.
Thank you, Dr. Vivas. Okay, so with that, we are looking for an approval to waive the first and second reading and adopting the students and personal electronic devices policy. Is there a motion? Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve waiving first and second reading passes. Next is the approval of corrected policy 2100, school board legal status. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The approval of the district-wide school safety team for the 2025-2026 school year. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, so we're going to invite Mr. Chapoto up for a presentation on the district-wide school safety plan.
Good evening. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Joe Tripotto. I am the district's Director of Security. I am looking to go through and give you a brief overview of the district-wide school safety plan process. The requirement to create the district-wide school safety plan comes from the New York State Safe Schools Against Violence in Education, which is commonly known as the SAVE Act or Project SAVE. The law aims to promote a safer learning environment and mandates school districts to develop comprehensive school safety plans. Its primary purpose is to outline procedures for preventing, minimizing, and responding to emergencies, serious incidents, and threats within a school district. It documents the plans to minimize the impact of these incidents by outlining procedures for risk reduction, response, recovery, and the coordination with local and county resources. It is the framework for creating a safe and orderly learning environment. Unlike each school's confidential building level response plans, the district-wide safety plan is a public document and is posted on the district's website. The district-wide school safety plan process is as follows. The board appoints the chief emergency officer and the district-wide school safety team. The district-wide school safety plan is reviewed and updated by the district school safety team, posted to the district website for a 30-day public comment, and reviewed by the board at a public hearing, which will take place on August 27th at the Board of Ed meeting. After adoption of the plan by the Board of Education, the district must post the approved plan on the district website and submit the plan URL, the Uniform Resource Locator, to the New York State Department of Education. What's new for 2025-2026? There is a modification to the emergency response terms. The new terms are shelter/shelter in place, hold/hold in place, evacuate, secure lockout, and lockdown. What was formerly lockout is now changed to secure lockout. This change is designed to avoid confusion between the similarity of lockout and lockdown. However, there is no change to our responses or the actual actions to be taken. There is also a requirement to ensure that district plans are inclusive of a brief statement regarding after-school programs as well as indoor and outdoor activities. And lastly, there is a statement to review the inclusion of actions related to the new maximum classroom temperature law. Any questions?
Just one, it does reference the code of conduct, which we've just discussed is going to be changing because of the phone policy. So how will that affect this plan?
In a district-wide safety plan, it's basically like a 30,000 overview of the district. The code of, it specifically states the code of conduct is necessary in the district plan, but the specifics of how it lays out what's a violation of the code of conduct is not in the district-wide plan.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you, Mr. Tripota.
Thank you.
Okay, for personnel, Ms. Hawk?
Thank you. We'd like to ask for approval for the items listed under personnel this evening, 12.1 to 12.25.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Business and financial, Mr. Cahill. Not here. Oh, he's not here. Who's doing business and financial?
Motion to approve items 13.1 through 13.8.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Committees on Special Education and Preschool Special Education, is there a motion to approve the recommendations of the committee?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I thought you said something, Joe.
No, I was just counting board members,
Oh,
Oh, it's okay.
because we have two that aren't at the table, so we're good.
we're at 5.
Yeah.
Okay, and reports by board and central office. Ms. Hawk?
Thank you. I'd like to say welcome home to Jennifer Llewellyn. Jennifer is returning to Monroe-Woodbury. She's in the audience this evening. Jen is a Monroe-Woodbury graduate who, after many successful years in another district, is returning to Monroe-Woodbury as a behaviorist. Welcome back.
That's it. Okay. Is there, Mr. Reynolds?
Oh, sorry, I'm not used to the new batting
I
order. Everybody have a great summer. Appreciate all the hard work to get here, and see you soon.
Thank you, Dr. Vias.
So summer is a full swing for technology. We are making some infrastructure changes, upgrading the smart panels in all the buildings, wireless access. We're also getting ready to upgrade our phone systems, and more to come to the communications.
Thank you. Mrs. Donahue?
I'd like to thank Dr. Vargas and his team for all the work they put in to the distraction-free school plan. And I'd also like to thank Mr. Tripota for all the work he and his team have done. And I'd like to wish everyone a wonderful summer and have a good evening.
Thank you. Mrs. Robinson?
Thank you to both presenters, and have a good night.
Thank you. Dr. Morales?
It's nice to see students back in some of our buildings. I was able to visit Spell and Summer Crusaders, and at Spell I was able to see Mr. Hughes have his English language learners participate in a STEAM scavenger hunt through the library, which was a lot of fun. And in Summer Crusaders I was able to visit Ms. DeCurcio's class as they were making homemade pizza, and Ms. Solomon as they were practicing yoga and mindfulness. Other than that, have a great night and a safe summer.
Thank you. Mr. Berger?
Just like to congratulate all of the new hires, welcome them to our Crusader family, in some cases welcome them back to our Crusader family. Looking forward to all of the great things that you do for our district, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Mr. Siriello.
Have a great evening.
Dr. Koifman.
Oh, that's me. Yes, thank you for the presentation. It's very inspirational and educational both. And I hope everybody has a great summer.
Thank you. Superintendent Norman.
Good evening again. I want to start by just acknowledging all the great things that are happening this summer. I too visited our summer programs and was very impressed with all that I saw and the people that I had the opportunity to speak with. I'm also excited about our cabinet retreat coming up for August 20th and 21st. I'm looking forward to spending some intimate time with the cabinet there. I want to publicly acknowledge the Monroe-Woodbury staff who have been working diligently behind the scenes to prepare for the new school year. A special thank you goes out to our buildings and grounds and custodial teams led by our Director of Facilities, Andre Rudiak. As we near the halfway point of summer, and here are just a few, and it really is just a few compared to what has been done to date, of our key updates. Significant progress has been made to meet the requirements of the New York State Heat Index Law, which is effective September 1. Air conditioning units and necessary electrical work have been completed in most schools, with remaining work on track to meet the deadline. Vestibule upgrades at Central Valley and Pine Tree Elementary are ongoing and scheduled to be completed by September. Several school parking lots have been repaved and relined. All 5 elementary schools will receive new playground equipment. Routine maintenance and deep cleaning are ongoing across all 7 buildings, and preparations continue for the rollout of distraction-free learning environments at the high school and middle school, as you just heard. So thank you to everyone for these contributing efforts. Your hard work is certainly making a difference. Thank you and enjoy your summer.
Thank you. Vice President Simmons.
It's my turn. Thank you to Dr. Valles and Mr. Chupoto for the presentations. Much appreciated all the work that goes into making sure that the policies that we enact are well thought through and very thorough in terms of our approach to them. Welcome to the new, I'm going to use a term from Mr. Reynolds, our new teammates. And I want to say a hearty congratulations to the summer graduates. I unfortunately won't be able to make the ceremony, but I hope you have an amazing, amazing, amazing send-off from Monroe-Woodbury and on to your next journey into the world. Have a great summer, everyone.
Thank you. And like everybody else, I would like to thank Dr. Vias and the committee on the distraction-free learning, Mr. McElroy, for your comments and support from the teachers and staff. And thank you for the presentation from Mr. Chupoto, and welcome to our new staff. And we'll see you in a few weeks at our next meeting on the 13th. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.